Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American psychological thriller horror film from 2025, titled The Killer Is Calling. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The film opens in the bustling city of New York City, where a mysterious man boards a ferry to Bracken Island along with several other passengers. After arriving on the island, he enters a truck that has been left for him, stares at a photograph of his family, and calls 911 while breathing heavily before driving away with a knife. He later breaks into a house and murders the couple living there. The story then shifts to the Bracken Police Department, where Faye, an experienced 911 operator, is training a new recruit named Jake. During their shift, Jake receives a call from Susan, a bar owner and friend of Faye, reporting that a drunk man named Ed is causing trouble by urinating on a karaoke machine, and Officer Croft is sent to arrest him. Shortly afterward, Jake answers another emergency call from Donnie, whose pregnant wife is about to give birth at home. Struggling to handle the situation, Jake becomes overwhelmed, forcing Faye to step in and calmly guide Donnie through the delivery process. With her assistance, the baby is safely delivered, and impressed by her professionalism, Jake is reminded by Faye that handling emergencies becomes easier with experience. Their supervisor, Hamlin, also praises Faye and advises Jake that while they cannot control every outcome, they must always do their best. As preparations begin for the station's party, Jake mentions that he has already ordered food for the night. Meanwhile, Ed is brought to the station and placed in a holding cell, and before leaving work, Faye is shown footage by Officer Saito of the island ferry engulfed in flames. On their way home, Faye and Jake encounter the delivery driver, and it is revealed that Jake is married. Faye returns home, where she is welcomed by her daughter, Alex, who has recently returned from college, and her injured husband, Chris, and his nurse, Stella, is also present. That evening, the family plans a game night, and Stella happily agrees to join them. Later that night, the family plays a card game, with Faye and Chris teaming up against Alex and Stella. Unknown to them, someone is secretly watching the house from outside. Faye and Chris eventually win the game using a secret signal between them. Shortly afterward, Faye receives an urgent call from the station, and Hamlin informs her that every dispatcher has suffered food poisoning and has been taken to the hospital. Faye quickly returns to work, where she meets Saito, who was unaffected, and feeling guilty because he ordered the food. Jake blames himself, but Faye reassures him that it was not his fault. Faye video calls her family so she can continue watching their card game from the station. Suddenly, she receives an emergency call from a terrified woman who claims that a man has broken into her home and murdered her husband. The woman explains that she is hiding inside her daughter's closet while the killer searches through the house. Faye tries to calm her down, but the caller unexpectedly begins mentioning details about Faye's family and claims they have met before, leaving Faye deeply disturbed. Officer Saito arrives at the address and discovers the bodies of a dead couple inside the house, but there is no sign of the caller. Moments later, the woman's voice becomes distorted by static before a man's voice takes over the call. The man admits to murdering the couple and reveals that Faye was his intended target all along. He warns her that more people will die unless she discovers why he is doing this, insisting that she is responsible for everything that has happened. He also threatens to kill her family if she disobeys him or contacts anyone before abruptly ending the call. Jake informs Faye that severe weather conditions are preventing the SWAT team from reaching the island quickly. Faye then realizes the killer was also responsible for setting the ferry on fire earlier, delaying outside help for at least 2 hours. She secretly texts Chris to warn him, but the killer immediately calls back and reveals that he somehow knows she contacted her husband. Believing the station may be under surveillance, Faye and Jake secure the building by locking the doors and closing the windows. Faye calls her family and warns them about the murders, instructing them to lock every entrance while Officer Croft heads to the house to protect them. At the same time, Saito returns to the station with evidence from the crime scene, revealing that one of the victims, Harry, had connections to several people who owed him money. Shortly afterward, Faye receives a call from Hamlin, and the two emotionally discuss a tragic incident from the past that Hamlin still regrets. However, the conversation suddenly turns horrific when the killer attacks and murders Hamlin during the call. Faye contacts the hospital and learns that Hamlin's throat was slit before the killer escaped. Saito immediately drives to the hospital, while Faye is forced to continue managing emergency calls despite the growing chaos. Desperate for clues, Faye contacts Donnie, the man she earlier helped during his wife's childbirth, and asks him to help identify the killer. Donnie spots a red pickup truck speeding away from the hospital parking lot and gives Faye the license plate number before the vehicle disappears. Meanwhile, Jake becomes increasingly worried after his wife, Bree, stops answering his calls. He informs Saito that the red pickup truck is heading north and asks him to check on Bree, since his home is located in that direction. Jake searches the license plate number, but no records are found. Soon afterward, the killer contacts Faye again, blaming the people of Bracken Island for the suffering he has endured and declaring that he wants everyone on the island to experience the same pain he lives with every day. Faye tells him she cannot help unless she knows who he is, but the man replies that all he wants is justice. As Faye secretly begins typing on her phone, the killer immediately warns her to stop if she wants her family to remain alive. Realizing they may still be under surveillance, Faye searches the station and discovers a hidden camera concealed inside the food delivery package. After destroying it, she realizes the delivery driver was actually the killer and the same man responsible for poisoning the food. While Jake searches the station for additional surveillance devices, Faye reviews her call logs and discovers that she has been receiving strange breathing calls every week for more than a month. After listening carefully to the recordings, she realizes the caller was the same man who contacted her earlier that day. Faye then plays another recording and discovers that the killer had secretly contacted Jake as well. In the message, the man orders Jake to keep Faye inside the station at all costs or Bree would be harmed. Faye realizes the killer has been carefully planning everything for a long time and concludes that he must have assistance somewhere on the island.